Hi, I'm Daniel Edwards, a licensed marital and family therapist. And today I want to talk to you about an exercise I use with my couples, as well as I've used in my own relationship and still use from time to time to really help improve communication between you and your spouse. And it's an exercise, I call it a hand-holding exercise. I typically ask in session for the husbands to lead this. I believe that as a husband, it is our responsibility to kind of be the leader in the family and to lead in our relationship. And oftentimes our wives feel like they really would like that if it's leadership in the correct way. And so if you think back to all of the leaders you've had in your life, the leaders that you love and adore, the ones that you would really follow to the ends of the earth are the ones that supported you, they listened to you, you felt like they heard you, they really worked for you. And the ones that you didn't like were the ones that always bossed you around, ordered you, mandated, required, like all of these harsher things. They didn't really connect with you. And so this exercise is really to help change some of those dynamics as well, as far as men being the leader of their house. So the hand-holding exercise starts out, husbands, I want you to do this. You're gonna hold out your hands like this, because this is the universal symbol of service, right? Here you go. Would you like some more food? Would you like this, right? So we're serving. We're also laying, this is our foundation. So the hands actually have some symbolism. So it's the foundation, it's serving. Your wife's, you're gonna place your hand on top of your husband's hand like this. And what's going to happen is your fingers are going to kind of naturally wrap around and lock around your wife's hand, which is interesting because that actually is like a form of boundaries. It's protection. It's holding on what we love dearly. Like it really starts, there's a symbolic, like this is mine, right? And so then when we look at the wife's position with her hand on top, husbands, I don't know if you've noticed this or know this. I didn't realize this, but our wives protect us from so many things. Like they are covering us in the relationship, and they protect us from people saying mean things about us, from people perceiving things about us that's not true. They know our hearts and don't want bad things to happen to us. And so it's really interesting that like it actually symbolizes kind of a role of what wives do for us. And so you're going to hold your hands like this. And husbands, what I want you to do is I want you to say, what were the 3 best things that happened to you today? And then your only job is to listen to what your wife has to say. And really try to hear what her 3 best things were. And then wife, after you're done, I want you to go ahead and ask your husband, what were the 3 best things that happened to you today? And then your job is just to listen and not say anything about it. Okay, so what is actually going on in this? So the first thing is we know that skin-to-skin contact is very important for connection. We know that with babies, like when they're first born, the first thing we want to do is put them on the mother's chest so that skin-to-skin, that bonding happens. And we also know that in couples, one of the major problems or hiccups that couples have is this idea and notion of non-sexual physical touch, right? We both crave physical touch, but we don't always want it to lead to something else. And so this exercise gives us that non-sexual physical touch and connection that we so desire as humans. The next thing it's doing, by asking the question, what were the 3 best things that happened to you today? You're supposed to start going through your day trying to figure out, is this the best thing? Is this the best thing? Is this? And you're starting to actually rewire your brain to be more positive than negative. And we know with couples, especially ones that are having problems communicating, that they often are stuck in this negative cycle and they need some help getting broke free of it so that they can actually work together in their relationship. The next piece of it is, by listening, you're not supposed to think about it, you're not responding to it, you're just listening in the beginning, is because when we talk or communicate with our spouse, what often happens to get us into that argument or that disagreement is we're not listening to the other person, we're thinking about what we're going to say next. Oh yeah, well this. Oh yeah, well that. What's happening is we're defeating the actual purpose of coming together and working together to solve the problem. So how do we fix this? Well, we learn to listen. And so we're creating a new pattern of being close to one another, listening to one another, not judging the other person. So then later, we're able to actually have a conversation about anything and everything. Now, in the beginning, you can ask follow-up questions like, oh, wow, that sounds really interesting. Why was that one of your favorite things today? Or how did you decide that as opposed to this that you noticed was a really good thing for that day? Oh, yeah, that's a good point, right? And so your follow-up questions, not judgmental or any of those kinds of questions. Lessons learned. So these are the lessons learned. If my couples clients could come talk to you and tell you about this exercise and how it's worked well for them in counseling, these are the things that they would tell you. Number one, you want to do this exercise. You want to do this exercise daily because the more you practice it, the better you get at it, the more connected you become. Number two, by all means, please do not judge what the other person says as one of their three things. If they say, I got out of bed, the worst thing you could do is say, really? Really, that's the best you got? Because that's judgmental. That attacks them. That puts them on the defensive. It says, your opinion of what was good for you today is wrong. I know better. And that never works in a relationship. That doesn't help anybody out. And then number three, we really want this to start laying the foundation to be closer to one another, to listen, to hear, to really understand the other person's perspective. Try this at home. Try this with your spouse. By the way, it also works with kids. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and like, share, and follow. And if you need more information, go to danieledwardscounseling.com and let's connect.